Guitar Hero or Rock Band was released, Harmonix was known for a series of other games called Amplitude and Frequency, both of which were released in the early 2000s back on the PlayStation 2. Now, while neither was a commercial hit, both games were critically acclaimed. After the games were released, Harmonix then focused its attention on other kind of rhythm games, including Guitar Hero 1, Guitar Hero 2, Rock Band 1 all the way through Rock Band 4, and Amplitude was never really talked about again, and there still was this core audience that was dying for an Amplitude reboot on the PlayStation 3 and on the PlayStation 4, and it wasn't until 2014 when Harmonix actually launched a Kickstarter campaign to raise funds to actually bring Amplitude back, and it was successful. They actually did one, and they were able to raise about over $800,000, and here we are today. We have Amplitude rebooted for the PlayStation 4, and it will be coming back to the PlayStation 3 later this year. For those of you watching this review, I just want to let you know I never played the original Amplitude or Frequency back in the day. The closest kind of game I've played to the rebooted Amplitude is Rock Band Blitz. And there are some similarities between Rock Band Blitz and Amplitude, but there's also some big differences as well. Now, for those of you who have never really played Amplitude before, the game basically is like playing Rock Band Blitz. You have different tracks of a song, so you may have a bass track, a guitar track, drums, vocals, and your basic job is to cycle between each track, trying to play the notes, and then jump to the next track while trying to keep a combo going. And, the actual gameplay is fairly simplistic. It's an easy game to pick up, but it's a super hard game to master. And that's one area where I found this game is very similar to Rock Band Blitz, is that both games feature super addictive gameplay. Like, it's pretty easy to pick up for somebody who's never played the game before, and I always found myself like telling myself, okay, this is the last song I'm going to play, and then I'd play like 5 more songs. Because it's just so addictive, and you want to just keep topping out your high score and achieving a better score each time on the same song. And then as you're playing the actual game, you'll notice that there's like these little power-ups you can get that'll like multiply the scores of certain notes you're playing. There'll be certain power-ups that'll just destroy the entire track for you. And there's other power-ups which will slow stuff down for you as well. Like Rock Band games in this series, there's a number of different difficulty levels you can play on. There's easy or beginner, advanced, expert, and that's something that's a little bit different than Rock Band Blitz. Rock Band Blitz, there was no difficulty. You just play whatever the default difficulty was, and you'd play the song. This game at the higher difficulties can become insanely difficult and frustrating. I think the hardest part of playing Amplitude is keeping your combo going, largely because at certain times when you're playing certain tracks, as soon as you're done the notes on that track and then you have to switch over to maintain your combo, it sometimes feels like the game can be a little unfair. Like there's just not enough time to actually switch over and actually hit the right notes. And I encountered this numbers of times, and it's just, some songs it works really well. Other songs I found it was way more difficult, and I found my difficulty level that I felt comfortable at was intermediate. There were some songs I could play on advanced, but there was very few I could even attempt on expert. The game also features a couple different game modes. There's quick play, which you can access right off the bat, and then there's this 15-song career mode, which is kind of like playing a rock opera, like a 15-song rock opera where you have to revive like a comatose patient. It's kind of a weird story, and one of the weirdest parts about the game is how you unlock some of the game's 30 songs. So a lot of the times you unlock songs by achieving like a high score, and that's usually done in the career mode. But the weird thing is, like, if you didn't achieve a high score on a certain song in the career mode, you have to like go back and restart the career mode and then play and progress to that song again. And it's just a weird design choice. Why they did it that way, I don't understand. And that's really the only reason you're going to want to go back and play the career mode. Other than that, there's nothing really memorable about it. I found that most of my time I enjoyed was actually just spent playing quick play. And within the quick play mode, you actually do have some multiplayer options as well. You have a competitive mode, where you can play up to 4 players, or you can do like a team-based play as well. And the multiplayer is actually quite enjoyable. Now, I don't know how many people actually have 4 DualShock controllers. I only have 2, but the time I did spend playing multiplayer was actually really enjoyable and fun because you have these little power-ups you can get. You can like attack your opponent and like screw them up when they're playing the note charts. I actually found that the actual competitive modes were more enjoyable than the cooperative modes for sure. The one disappointment with the multiplayer is that there's no online play to speak of. I don't know how difficult it is for you guys, but to actually find people to play rhythm games with in this day and age is difficult for me. And having that option of online play would really be beneficial to a game like Amplitude. Think about the actual set list for the game. So there's 30 songs on disc. Now, the one thing I should warn you guys about is, unlike previous music games Harmonix has done over the past decade, the large focus of this game's track list is on electronic, EDM, you know, songs that involve a lot of synthesizers. You're not going to find a ton of hard rock or rock music on this track list. And if you're not into that kind of music, you might not enjoy this game at all. But that I found that a lot of the musical choices are not from well-known artists. So a lot of the music choices are from, you know, Harmonix bands that, you know, they've specifically made these kinds of songs for Amplitude. And, you know, that may frustrate a lot of people because if you've played Rock Band or Guitar Hero, you'll know a lot of the music in the game. You know, in Amplitude, you're not going to know a lot of the songs. And I also found that a lot of the musical choices just are not that memorable. Like, to me, a lot of the songs just felt like they blended together. And, like, I had sort of trouble differentiating one song from the next because they all sound alike. Now, at the end of the day, how did I like Amplitude? I found the gameplay was super addictive. I found it was easy to pick up. I found that it was enjoyable. That being said, I found that the soundtrack just was not that good. The lack of online play really hurt the game for me. And I also found that sometimes it can get a little frustrating, especially on the higher difficulties. With all that being considered, you know, for 20 bucks, it's a great deal. You're going to have a lot of fun with this game. I just don't know how long you'll be necessarily playing the game after you've been playing it for a week or so. Like, I don't know if it's a game I'm going to be playing a month or two from now, unless they release DLC for it, which I think is probably doubtful at this point in time. That being said, I give this game a 7 out of 10. Thanks, guys, and I want to know, what do you guys think of Amplitude? Comment below, and as always, guys, make sure you subscribe to my channel for the latest rhythm gaming news. Take care.